Hi everybody, my name is MJ with diMio, and today we're going to be talking about foam rolling using the diMio foam roller set. If you're not familiar with foam rolling, this is one of the most practical and efficient practices that you can utilize in your regular regimen, no matter what fitness level you're at or what type of physical activity you do. Foam rolling comes with so many benefits. What it does is it helps to relax and release the myofascial tissue layer within the body. This is basically like scar tissue. So when you are sitting at a desk, or if you are working out at the gym, or just going about your daily activity, your body tends to heal itself or protect itself by creating scar tissues. The problem with this is a lot of times it creates a ton of scar tissues, especially in areas where we're overused or overcompensated. So like when we're sitting at our car or typing on the computer, to help reinforce the system and stabilize the body. But if this happens in areas that keep the body out of alignment or keep our joints pulled in a different way that is not actually healthy for us, then it starts to sort of glue our bodies into those places, which actually increase pain, it increases swelling, it reduces flexibility, and it can cause further problems down the line. So the most important thing that you want to incorporate alongside your fitness regimen and alongside proper alignment and posture is foam rolling. It is a myofascial technique or myofascial release technique that helps incorporate more blood flow. It helps increase flexibility. It helps soothe aches and pains. And not just because it's working on the symptoms, but actually because it's doing something deep within the body. This is equivalent to getting a deep tissue massage from an actual massage therapist. They're there to break up those tissues so that you can release some of the dead cells or some of the stagnation, help bring your joints and muscles back into alignment, increase the blood flow, oxygen, and flexibility so that your body can heal appropriately and in the proper form. So foam rolling is really good, but it can also feel a little bit intense when you begin. And so today we're going to talk about how to get started as you are going along foam rolling, and even as you move along to intermediate or advanced techniques. We're going to show you what is so important about foam rolling, and you're going to feel almost right away its amazing effects and benefits if you do this routine with me. So a couple tips when you get started with foam rolling. The most important thing that you want to remember is to find the space where you find a little bit of discomfort, but you can also relax and breathe deeply in each position. So what this means is if you're not accustomed to foam rolling, or if you have a lot of tissues that are tight or knots in your muscles, then you're gonna feel some tenderness and sensitivity, and this is completely normal when you begin. And even moving along, your body is going to communicate with you where it is tight and where it needs to be addressed. So believe it or not, those areas that are tender, called hot spots, actually become less tender as you begin to foam roll and work those deep knots and those deep tightnesses out of the system. The next most important thing that you want to remember when you're doing this foam rolling technique is that you might be sore afterwards, and this is a good indication that you should take a break and really focus on hydrating, anti-inflammatory foods, and resting a lot. If you don't incorporate these things that help support the body to flush out everything that you've worked out, all that deep tissue massage, and to help it regenerate and rehabilitate with the oxygen and the hydration and the rest that it needs, then the benefits of foam rolling aren't going to be as effective as if you were. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself alongside this regimen, just like you would when you incorporate a fitness regime in your daily routine or your weekly routine. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to breathe. Find that place where you relax and breathe and focus on what feels good to your body, because your body is going to respond in different ways than other people. If there's anything sharp or stinging or just too painful of a sensation, make sure you stop immediately. Make sure you got clearance from your doctor to incorporate something like this. Most of all, this is very beneficial for just about everyone. So if you're ready to get started, let's go ahead and begin. We're gonna start with diMio's traditional foam roller. This is your normal high density foam roller that's gonna provide the softness, but yet the firmness that you need to really work those tissues out. And one of the areas that I like to start on with my clients or myself are my IT bands. These are the muscles running down the sides of your outer legs. They're typically muscles that can cause a lot of problems, but we fail to attend to them or even address them because they don't really seem to do anything for us. We don't really move them in this direction very often. They just seem sort of there, but it's difficult to stretch and it's difficult to contract equally. So using the foam roller is a great place to work this out. And this muscle in particular can attribute to knee pain, lower back pain, glutes and hips. So this is a very important spot to get to. But most of the time it's also the most tender spot. So what we're gonna do is find a nice flat ground that we can place our foam roller on. We're gonna place this perpendicular to our body. And then we're gonna lay or stretch ourselves over using our hands to support ourselves. Extend that bottom leg. Now I like to cross this front leg over the front, and what I'm doing is I'm using these 3 limbs, the 2 front arms and this leg, to help hold myself up and control the pressure on the actual roller. So starting up here near the hip, you're going to notice maybe a hot spot there, maybe not, but we're gonna go ahead and work our way down, rolling down the side of the thigh, and when you feel a hot spot, try to control the pressure. And then maybe stop there in that tenderness and breathe. So you're gonna focus on deep breathing, relaxation. You might feel that muscle kind of release or melt, and it might feel like, oh, wow, that was an intense sensation. But then you can move forward onto the next hot spot, working your way down just above the knee. You can also gently roll back and forth on a hot spot if you feel like that feels better or it works out that knot a little bit more. So continue to work your way back up. You might find the same hot spot or adhesions in that first area. And maybe you have more than one hot spot. It's totally possible. And then we're gonna work our way back down. So you wanna foam roll when you first start at about 1 to 2 minutes per area and work your way up to 3 minutes per each area. But once you feel that you've stimulated those hot spots and sort of begin to work them out and you can feel them move or at least relax a little bit or just get a little bit of the working into them, then you can begin to move back and forth a little bit more quickly. And if you want to add more intensity, you can bring both legs up and begin to work them gently. So the most important thing is as you work this, you make sure that you're nice and relaxed in the muscles and that you can breathe deeply throughout. Now we've done one IT band, we should do the other. And then once you're done with that, we can rotate towards the front of our leg. So I'm gonna rotate it here to this other side. You should do the other side. And then we're coming towards the quadriceps or the front of our leg. So bringing it just above the knee, we're coming on all fours like this. Now to incorporate more weight, you can bring your arms down to the forearms, which is gonna put more pressure on the leg. So just play with it and see how you feel. And we're gonna come above the knee and gently begin to roll up the thighs. And I'm gonna come down to my forearm so I can feel, and same thing if you feel that hot spot. We're breathing in and out. Nice deep breaths. Relaxing ourselves and allowing ourselves to get that nice deep tissue massage the same way you would in a massage therapist session. And you can either hold it there for sort of a trigger point therapy or roll back and forth for that deep tissue release. And we're gonna work our way all the way up. And you might feel another hot spot as I'm feeling now. We're gonna work our way all the way up to the hip. And we're gonna come right into the hip crease right here. Once we get to that hip crease, we're just gonna gently rotate out to the side and then rotate back. So feel that rotation back and forth over that hip crease. That's the TFL. Sometimes people feel hot spots or tenderness there. That's a common place to feel it. So we're just going to get into that side a little bit to feel it a little more. Now, if you feel like you need more intense massage within that area, you can go ahead and grab the circular ball and then do the same thing, but coming down onto your stomach, put it right into that TFL and gently roll your hips up over it. And you can roll back down and over, sort of feeling that deep tissue massage. And what happens is, because this crease is so small, the ball can get into that crevice a lot deeper and work its way deeper into the TFL, unlike the roller. So to begin, start with a larger roller, and if you want something a little deeper, more intense, go ahead and grab the ball to get into that. That's an amazing part of the diMio foam rolling kit, is you get that diversity so that you can really make sure you're working into those things. So we're here into the hip crease. We're gonna move into our inner thigh. So notice that we're getting the muscles in all directions. We've got the outer thigh, the upper thigh. Now we're working into the inner thigh. There's a couple ways that you can do this. The most comfortable way that I've found to do this is coming back onto your belly. We're just gonna hitch our leg up like this with the knee bent and put that foam roller underneath, sort of like you would lay sideways on your bed, but now we're rotating the whole hip forward towards the ground and just gently rolling inward into that leg. Now you can extend the leg to see how that feels, maybe coming into that deep VMO, a little bit deeper into the muscle. If you need a little less, you can bend that leg. We're just gonna roll it up, and then this time we're scooching ourselves to the side, allowing that foam roller to come closer into the inner groin. So just feel and breathe nice and deeply. Again, you wanna start at about 1 minute per muscle group. So 1 minute on the side, 1 minute on the quad, 1 minute here, and then work your way up to 3 minutes per individual area. Once you get the hang of this, you're gonna see that it only takes a minute or two and everything feels really good, and you don't really feel like you have to have such a deep tissue session. That's a really important thing to keep in mind. When you get started, this can be a tedious process. So you might start with day 1 focusing on the legs, day 2 focusing on the arms, day 3 focusing on the back, because you do get sore if you're not used to it, and you just want to take it a little bit easy so that your body can get accommodated without making it too inflamed or a bad experience. So all in all, this should be an amazing experience. It's just like getting a deep tissue massage, and it is one of my favorite things to do for my personal life as an instructor and health coach. It is probably the #1 self-care toolkit that I'm all about, besides relaxation and sleep. So we're gonna go ahead and move towards our bottom leg. This is our calf. This is a great place to get, because we neglect our calves just the same way that we neglect the IT bands. So placing your leg on the foam roller, and this is the lower leg, we're gonna start at the back of the ankles, or just right above the ankles. Now, to get more weight, you can cross your leg. And so there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either lift up and scoot yourself down, rolling down the calf. And you can even do this with 1 leg if that feels intense enough. And then sometimes that's not what the calf needs. Sometimes what the calf needs is to have the leg crossed, and you're going to teeter your legs side to side. So now you're getting the massage perpendicular to your actual calf muscles. And then you can lift and roll down just a couple inches and rotate side to side again, getting really deep into that calf tissue. Here we go. And that feels really great. Now, the cool thing is, if you're not wanting to target the center of the calf, but you really like to feel it on the outers of the calf, we're gonna go ahead and grab the peanut. And this is wonderful because instead of having to balance your calf on the actual roll, this has a nice groove that holds it in place. So you can stick it right in there and just press, and that feels really nice on the inner and outer calf. Utilizing this peanut is also a great way to get the external shin muscle. So what you have to do is come over it and place your shin right in that groove and just roll it up and down the shin. Now, to get the external one a little bit more, you can rotate your foot inward or slightly out to the side, just like this. And it gets it really nice and deep without having to worry about stabilizing yourself on the foam roller. You can really focus on just applying the pressure onto the calves so that you can roll deeply within without worrying about the roller coming out from under you. So let's go ahead and carry on. We're going to take this roller up to our glutes. Placing the roller perpendicular on the ground, we're literally gonna sit on it. And we're gonna place our hands on the ground behind it. Now we're gonna take 1 leg, lift it up and over, crossing it over the knee, giving ourselves a nice fore stretch, but we're also gonna rotate our hip to the side and holding right here, rolling it up and down this side glute right here. This is one of the most amazing places to get that foam roller on because the glutes carry a lot of tightness. It's a big muscle. It is responsible for so much. And tight glutes can equal tight low back, tight sciatic nerves, tight hips, and even problems and issues within the knees. So making sure that we get the glutes, as well as making sure that we get the upper glute minimus as well. So I'm gonna show you how to get that. That's that muscle right here where the glute meets the back. And we're gonna take ourselves and put ourselves on the side, but up above the hip this time. So we're coming down onto the elbow, and from here we're just gonna rotate sideways and forward. And we're going to rotate sideways and forward, feeling that massage our glute medius here. So it's up here where the low back meets the glute. You can get this right in here. Now, one of the places that I really love utilizing this ball is right here in the glute. Because this muscle is so tiny, this thing, once you get it on the glute, it starts to cover the glute and it works really nicely, but a lot of times I feel like the medius and the minimus need a little bit more deep work. So I'm gonna show you from the back here how I'm gonna sit down with the ball right here, right next to my hip. And then I'm just gonna lay my body kind of over it, holding it right there at the hip and feeling that press into the glute minimus. Now you might have to hold it there or guide it with your hand to make sure it really gets into that place. But sometimes just sitting on it like this and breathing deeply is enough to release and relax that muscle. This feels amazing if you do a lot of running, a lot of heavy lifting in the legs. This is one of the areas that you really want to make sure that you target. So I'm rolling back, I'm opening my upper torso, and just doing that can also change the feeling or the way that the muscles are positioned on the ball. I'm gonna roll over, getting it more towards the glute or the inner upper part here where that sciatica is. And this feels amazing. So now I'm able to move it around the rim of that upper glute, and I can even move it all the way down into the center of the glute, feeling like I really get that nice trigger point in the center. So we're rolling all the way down again, and this just feels so good. I love using this ball for those areas because these small areas like the TFL in there, you just want to have something that can really get into it. So let's go ahead and move into the low back, taking our regular foam roller back with us again. We're gonna set it here on the low back and just gently allow ourselves to open over it. Now you can hold your head up, cross your arms if you feel like, or even hold the back of your legs. Just feel that pressure, allowing your spine to open up towards the foam roller. Now, if it feels good, nothing should be sharp, painful, or tingling. So if it feels okay, you're welcome to let your back arch over the foam roller in any way that feels nice. This is gonna open the low back, open the hips a little bit, and as you roll it up or down, you can start to open one vertebrae at a time. Now, sometimes this might feel too intense, so you might bring your hands to support your head, and lifting through your heels, you're keeping your hips off the ground. We're just gonna roll this foam roller all the way up to our back, just below our shoulders, and then all the way back down again. And I'm going to crunch my belly as I roll and continue to roll back up and roll down. If you do feel any hot spots, feel free to set your hips down and just relax right there. This is one of the best places and most relaxing places to use this large foam roller. Now, if you want something a little more intense that really gets into the muscles that surround your spine, this is where the peanut comes in handy. Utilizing the peanut for the same thing, we can work it right up and down that spine, placing it here on the low back. And it feels so much more intense. And what I love about it is if you spread your shoulders out by kind of rounding that back, that peanut all of a sudden gets into those shoulder blade muscles. And we all know what a good shoulder massage feels like. This peanut gets it for you. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So sometimes I feel it click over the knots and I just like to roll it back and forth. And other times we can find that hot spot and just rest it right there. You can even take this peanut all the way up to the neck. So we're gonna just gently roll it all the way up and rest the neck inside the peanut. Now what you're gonna feel is that it cradles your cervical vertebrae nicely, and all you need to do is gently rotate your head side to side to get that nice neck massage. Wow, that feels amazing. And then you can roll the peanut down slightly and continue rotating the head side to side, gently pressing into the peanut and finding that relaxation. This feels nice. Whew. I could fall asleep here and relax. This feels so good. So that is one way to get into the peanut. And as you can see, I saved the best for last. And so this is absolutely phenomenal. Equally, you can go ahead and use the ball into the shoulder blade if you want something deeper. I also like utilizing this ball in the teres or the lats. You can use the foam roller, the regular size, in the lats as well, but this really targets it, and you might have to guide it again. So placing it under the shoulder blades or lats right here and just sort of settling down on it. You can prop your head up, just allowing gravity and the weight of your body to press into it. And I just like to lift and roll it down and then allow to press into it. Another thing that we can do for the lats is bringing that regular foam roller up, placing it under the side body, arm laying over, and then gently rolling up the lats and back down. And I am noticing right now how tight my lats are, so this is good. I have not rolled my lats for quite a while, and so when I'm feeling that tenderness and that tightness, I realize that is a good indicator that I need to address this spot simply by doing what I'm doing right now. So you're just kind of inching your way along. And then this is where we come into the nice little foam roller mini. We're gonna take this, place it perpendicular to the ground. We're gonna get the triceps, and this is a great, I really have to be thankful for this mini foam roller because this area is difficult to get, but it is an area that causes so many adhesions. Hence the term bingo flaps, or the loose arms and stuff. This is a place that causes tightness in the shoulders, in the neck, in the upper back. And so this is an amazing tool and so simple to use to get into that and start to address that problem. So we're gonna place our arm over it. I'm using my hand and my upper body to apply the pressure. If I want more pressure, I can place the weight of my head on my arm. But for starts, we're gonna place it right above the elbow, and we're just going to, just like the leg, roll all the way down, up, 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 until it meets the base of the shoulder. And we're gonna find those hot spots, and if we find a hot spot, press our head onto the hot spot, allowing ourselves to relax, or allowing ourselves to roll back and forth over those spots. Breathe in nice and deeply and allow those muscles to relax and melt. This is amazing. And for some of you, it might feel a little bit difficult or tender, just like the IT bands. The triceps have a tendency to have that same level of tenderness or swelling. So just go easy on it and do what feels right. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move into our forearms. And this is great too, because how often do we really treat our forearms? So using the mini roller or the peanut, we can place our arm in the middle of that groove, or find a table or space where we can place that forearm on the ground. Now I like taking my opposite arm and placing it on the top and rolling it up towards the elbow and back down. And this feels amazing as long as you focus on relaxing the arm. You can also flip the palm up and roll the outside of the forearm. And I'm kind of rotating my palm away so that I can really get into this muscle up here. But again, if that feels a little bit more difficult, you can apply the peanut, and that way you can just really focus on applying the pressure, and the peanut stays in place. So we've just done a very straightforward whole body foam rolling routine. This is a great place to get started, and if you do this regularly, you're going to experience some amazing benefits. Remember key tips to keep in mind. Make sure you find the edge of discomfort and relaxation. You should be able to breathe deeply in every single position and as you're rolling. When you find hot spots, make sure that you apply pressure or gently roll back and forth over those hot spots. Maybe you'll feel them release or relax. And lastly, make sure you follow up with good hydration, rest, and relaxation to gain the maximum benefits of foam rolling. If you do this regularly, you'll find that it only takes a few minutes every single day of foam rolling to keep your body relaxed, flexible, and at ease. My name is MJ with diMio, and we hope you enjoyed this entire routine as well as your diMio foam rolling kit.